have the next set of trainers ready to go. Arroh versus, think about it, Shadow Gligar, Skarmory, Shadow Charizard, Whimsicott, and then Lantern kind of pseudo against Poliwrath, and it's all meant to prof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a pseudo fighter type, right? And he is running, this is pretty much the meta team. I think we saw him on stage earlier.
As we get into the first battle, Shadow Charizard versus Mandibuzz.
And this is not as terrible as that Shadow Gligar would be in the back, because you can actually soak a Dark Pulse or an Aerial Ace here. So are we going to see a pivot maybe swap into the Shadow Gligar? Because Shadow Gligar looks incredibly safe versus Mr. McCalvin's team. So I actually expect to throw some damage and then just get on out of there in the Shadow Gligar, but decides to actually stay in.
Okay, Dark Pulse now going to be coming through Shadow Charizard. Hit incredibly hard with that Blast Burn, but now can it actually survive this Dark Pulse?
It does, just barely, and doesn't get outpaced before the Aerial Ace. So this will be a soft loss in the zeros here, and Arroh seems fine with this. Maybe he's going to try to go for a wing attack down.
Maybe even a Fairy Wind.
Yeah,
Fairy Wind farm down? No, he's going to come in with the wing attack, and we do see the Vigoroth right away.
And is he going to try to maybe soak a Body Slam here and then swap into Whimsicott? Because maybe he is also expecting the Shadow Gligar in the back, and he does not want to match up his Whimsicott into that Shadow Gligar. So this is actually going to be a crucial decision. Obviously, we can see the Shadow Gligar in the back, but Arroh doesn't know yet.
He has no clue, but this is the pivotal decision. He's deciding to no-shield the Body Slam. We might see a swap out, but Mr. McCalvin did a great job having a little bit of extra energy there, and this is crucial. Whenever you Body Slam spam, you never want to get caught with zero energy as a Vigoroth. You always want to have a little bit extra in case your opponent decides to swap out.
And here comes the first Protect Shield of the battle for Mr. McCalvin here, and he's at another Body Slam, and Arrow's just staying in, just going for the wing attacks here. This Vigoroth is almost at another Body Slam, but this Shadow Gligar is really close to the Aerial Ace, uses his first Protect Shield of the game for Arroh. Does he try to pivot here? His timer is up, Mr. McCalvin's timer is almost up, and down goes the Vigoroth. So Shadow Gligar is actually going to come out with enough health to maybe threaten an Aerial Ace. Is that the advantage Whimsicott needs to take down a Gligar?
Yeah, this is so tough. He's going to get the aggressive farm down.
And he gets there!
And the catch on Mandibuzz. What a play from Mr. McCalvin. Oh my goodness.
And the one advantage Arrow had to try to win this matchup, and now another advantage. He's going to try to go for that Fairy Wind down that you were mentioning earlier. Can he get the Fairy Wind down before the Aerial Ace? No! So the Aerial Ace is going to be coming in super effective. This means that Arrow is going to have to get to double Moonblast before double Aerial Ace comes out from Mr. McCalvin. That's going to be tough for the Whimsicott.
I think the only play, I don't even think Moonblast is going to do enough. I mean, it might do enough, but he has to get a shield bait here with Seed Bomb.
Does he get the shield bait?
No!
No shield!
The no shield call!
And he is running that Seed Bomb. You have two options as the Whimsicott, and here comes the Aerial Ace, and that is going to secure the Game 1 victory for Mr. McCalvin. And that Shadow Gligar is so good for a reason. It's going to take out the opposing Shadow Gligar, and Arrow dropping his first game of the entire tournament.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, Arrow has been undefeated up until this point, and I'm curious to see what Arrow was potentially reading based on the...
Once he saw the Mandibuzz in the lead, he thought that it could be the Shadow Gligar in the back, which it obviously was this Shadow Gligar in the back. And the Shadow Gligar in this swap in particular is a huge reason Mr. McCalvin came out on top, because if that Aerial Ace lands, maybe then you're a little bit worried about no shielding there, because like you mentioned, Moonblast might be not be enough, but if you took an Aerial Ace too, it would have been enough.
Yeah, 100% would have been enough. Now, Arrow is not out yet, right? Arrow is an incredibly skilled battler. He's been undefeated up until this point, so I suspect...
Good, because we had Obethamac take out Arceus. Can Mr. McCalvin take out Arrow? And we just have a repeat of last game, except there's no Whimsicott in the back. Instead, there is a Lantern for Arrow.
I'm curious to see if Arrow's going to want to protect his Shadow Charizard a bit more. Maybe give up a shield to stop a Dark Pulse, load up on a bit of energy, and then try to swap into something a bit more safe, because Shadow Charizard has a lot of damage that it can do against this team.
I completely agree. What stops you from swapping into Shadow Gligar? There is no hard counter on Mr. McCalvin's team. So I feel like that would be a fantastic way to utilize it, actually calling the Aerial Ace bait here, but you're already at the next Aerial Ace, which will knock out. So is it even a bait? You can just double Aerial Ace to take out the Shadow Charizard.
All right, looks like the play is to come in with Lantern and do an aggressive farm down. And Mr. McCalvin does have his switch available, which we see right away. And Shadow Gligar, beautiful play by Arroh. Maybe predicting the instant swap like last game and coming with Shadow Gligar right away to get ahead on energy.
Yeah, and he will be slightly ahead on energy into this Vigoroth. The problem is you're going to have that Lantern in the back versus Gligar. You're going to need some kind of energy advantage or some kind of little advantage to win that matchup in the back, because Shadow Gligar can barely edge out the Lantern here if everything is equal.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting how this plays out. Body Slam does land. Aerial Ace is going to be thrown right away, so no messing around. But we do see a shield given up by the Vigoroth. This is going to get a lot of information to Arrow on what to potentially do next.
And here comes the first Protect Shield, and does Arrow match with the Protect Shield? Is he trying to swap and actually threw on Charge Attack priority? I like that play from Mr. McCalvin, but now Arrow can comfortably throw this X Aerial Ace, and Mr. McCalvin has the Protect Shield, right? You don't want to give up a full Body Slam worth of energy.
Yeah, you don't, as the Aerial Ace is going to be coming through. Vigoroth's going to go ahead and let it go. He's got even shields, and he can get aggressive farm down here, and he's going to look to swap out into Lantern right away. And we have a Gligar now versus Lantern behind on energy.
Oh, it's Water Gun! We missed it! We missed it in the open team streams this whole time. It's been Water Gun, and Lantern with Water Gun is a much better counter into the Shadow Gligar, but you still don't want to take a dig, and you were behind on energy because I believe there was one wing attack thrown by Arrow before he swapped.
Yes, this dig is going to be hurting. He's going to go ahead and let it go, hoping that it's going to be an Aerial Ace, but unfortunately the dig is going to land. But Lantern can hang on. Mandibuzz has a little bit of health. We're going to see the Aerial Ace thrown right away.
And yes, you're going to try to get this last protection here. This is actually tough. It's not over for Mr. McCalvin. Even though the Water Gun Lantern is a huge swing for Arrow here, you're still going to have to finish it off with a charge attack, or can you go for the full Water Gun down and throwing straight away? I think Arrow was expecting this. This is a catch, yes, but
he wants to. He wants to get rid of it.
Yes, he wants to get this Mandibuzz out of there, but he's not at his timer yet. This is really bad if this Gligar can. But no, Water Gun, pew, pew, pew.
Water Gun able to take it out. We came that matchup. You can see the smile on Arrow's face. He's like, I've been cooking today.
Yeah.
To these games as well, I think it has a lot of good matchups against this team. It just really needs to watch out for the Vigoroth and the Moonblast.
Yeah, and the Vigoroth has been a crucial pivot here for Mr. McCalvin, because there's not a huge way that you can punish it if you are Arrow. So Mr. McCalvin is definitely going to be leaning on that. And I think you mentioned earlier that Arrow was expecting that instant pivot. So he came in with Gligar first, knowing that's going to happen anyway, because with this team, there is no downside to pivoting Vigoroth, because Vigoroth...
there's no Dugong.
Yeah, Vigoroth is just fine in the Shadow Gligar. It's fine in the Shadow Charizard because you have to respect the Rock Slide and you can throw Body Slams. It's just fine against all three flying types.
Yes, as we do get into the deciding Game 3, Shadow Gligar here versus Mandibuzz. And there's the Guzzlord.
There it is, the Guzzlord in the back, but I don't think you're going to win the alignment here. And in this backline, you really want the alignment because you're faced with a great matchup against Cresselia or a bad matchup against Vigoroth. But Mandibuzz is kind of the king of the neutral flying types. It's just going to outbulk that Shadow Gligar.
Man, if you told me I would have seen like 5 flying type Pokemon in one set of battles, I would have called you crazy, but we are seeing it right here as the Shadow Gligar shields the Dark Pulse.
And he shields the first one because oftentimes trainers don't mess around with the bait on the first one, especially at a high health Pokemon. He knows his strategy going into this lead. He knows how he's going to play out this matchup. I don't think he can win it neutrally in the ones. Is he going to try to go for a 2 Protect Shield situation? This Mr. McCalvin is already at double Dark Pulse pretty much, and he instantly gives up both Protect Shields.
Wow, Arrow making a hard read, wants to utilize the Shadow Gligar a bit more, knowing that this Dark Pulse is going to come through. He's actually going to just not even try to Charge Attack priority it. He's just going to let the Dark Pulse land for free. And Shadow Gligar is going to be able to hang on, and we do see a counter swap now into Cresselia.
But does the Cresselia have the Moonblast? The Cresselia does have the Moonblast. So this is actually tough. You're down 2 Protect Shields. Your best answer is going to be that Guzzlord that you want to avoid the Vigoroth in the back. But this is a fantastic answer too, especially with your shields down. You would not want to soak this Moonblast. Double super effective in the Guzzlord, but Skarmory, no problem.
Yeah, the Moonblast there, going to be resisted, and you just got to pray.
Oh,
he got the debuff! Oh no! You know what this is? It's an opportunity, right? One door closes with your attack, another door opens. It's an opportunity to get more energy.
Yeah, and the thing is this good for Arrow? Arrow, I think, doesn't love it so far because now you're going to have a tough time Steel Winging down plus Sky Attacking. He wanted to go for the Sky Attack and eventually Steel Wing down to bank some energy now, but because of that debuff, such a low chance on that Moonblast, you're not Steel Winging down, so you kind of have to reset from 0, but at least you can get back to your timer after this next Moonblast.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see if we see a swap out again here by Arroh, maybe into the Shadow Gligar to get ahead on energy, or maybe the Guzzlord and just bank double charge moves here on Skarmory. Switch clock is coming back up.
And there it is, swap, but now counter swap. And remember, Mr. McCalvin has that double protect shield advantage now, and it's this tricky situation when there's a double swap here. You want to throw on optimal timing, and Arroh does get that good timing with that Dragon Claw and gets a protect shield.
Now this looks like a bad matchup, right? Counter user, body slam spam into a Guzzlord, but Guzzlord's Dragon Tails are adding up, and another Dragon Claw coming through, and this is why I said Arrow's like, you know what? Yeah, I got the debuff, but guess what? I got double Sky Attack on the back end.
The composure for these unique strategies, and you just have all this energy in the back banked, but this Vigoroth is going to be able to just counter down here. But the thing is, if you can endure a Rock Slide, which you can't, so this Vigoroth is just going to be able to, does it throw the blind Rock Slide? Does it expect the Skarmory?
It has two Rock.
But does the Gligar hang on? Here comes the Sky Attack.
Oh!
He threw the Rock Slide, he threw it blind, and that was the right call because this is going to secure the knockout. Now you can just go for the body slam, and suddenly the underdog has the 3-ball flex. Mr. McCalvin takes it 2-1.
Wow, Vigoroth proving so dominant in this meta as it takes down not only one, but two fighters right there as Mr. McCalvin takes down Arroh.
And Vigoroth just lifting up the underdogs in this tournament. 2 series in a row from a Bethamac, and now Mr.